There's all this wind on either side of the country right now. And in California, it's the wind and the thunderstorms actually creating some issues. We've got power outages here. They keep going up. We're now over 32,000 customers without power.
Yes, the numbers you can see, the sort of the trend line here going up from yesterday evening to about now. And there is some significant weather moving through Southern California, including a severe thunderstorm warning.
Yes, here we go with the weather that is now blasting in here, the western part of Los Angeles County. We've been dealing with this line, the brighter colors on the radar indicating the most intense weather, some big rainfall rates, but also some strong damaging winds are possible with that.
Yeah, I would expect wind gusts over 50 miles per hour with some of the heavier showers moving through, maybe not even any lightning. Here's some good news. It did say there was a tornado possible with this line segment of thunderstorms or showers. But scanning inside of it with the radar, we're not seeing any obvious signs of rotation. That doesn't mean there can't be a brief spin up here, but at least there's some good news there looking at the Doppler velocities.
So let's track this east. So that is the direction it is moving with Century City 903. And now we're getting outside of the warned area. Los Angeles, you're not under the severe thunderstorm warning, but this is heading in your direction. So we want to track it to you even if it's weaker. Los Angeles 908, West Hollywood 909, Burbank 914. Again, not in the severe thunderstorm warning right now.
Here's some of the reports that we've seen with this weather moving on in. Malibu, wind gusts to 53 miles per hour. Woodland Hills at some elevation, as you mentioned, 54 miles per hour. This is the kind of weather that's going to lead to power outages.
Right. And then just one other point of note is those power outages here. As long as the weather is this bad, they're not able to restore the power outages that are ongoing. You know, the lingering nor'easter that we're talking about, it's been tough. Yesterday was a mess at the airports in the Northeast, in particular. Boston and the New York City area airports felt the brunt of it. We had more than 7,000 flights, actually more than 7,800 flights that were delayed yesterday, about 600 that were canceled. Most of them impacted at the Boston Logan Airport and New York's LaGuardia Airport here. But we had some other impacts, too, at JFK, even in D.C. at Reagan National and Newark. We had a handful of delays and cancellations. Now, today it's been not so much the wind. Yesterday it was all about the wind. Today it's the low clouds, which don't seem like they're that threatening, but boy, are they causing problems. That's why we have the major issues in Boston right now with those delays. Just saw a new delay program get into place at LaGuardia, a ground delay program, and it's the low clouds, which are the reason why. The winds are gusty, and maybe a small factor, but certainly not the factor that they were yesterday. Newark right now, we're running about a 30-minute departure delay. There's no ground delay or ground stop in effect, and here, no gusty wind either at this time here, just a sustained wind about 17. At JFK, doing much better. You had some departure delays. Those have been able to go away, so that's improved. But LaGuardia, we now have a ground delay program with about a 40-minute arrival delay on average. And a ground delay means that you're going to be delayed at your starting point here. So you're not going to be taking off for, on average, 40 minutes late. The weather, still the factor. The low clouds in the area. Not as bad as they are in Boston, but definitely still part of the story. Boston, we've got low clouds sitting at about 700 feet right over the airport. Low visibility, and that's the reason why we've got these issues out there, running about 3-hour delays on average to get into Boston. There are some gusty winds, but you know, most of them are out over the Atlantic. So the worst of the winds there. There has been some turbulence, but nothing major in the forecast for the next several hours. Once we get into later this afternoon and the evening, there may be some stronger winds here affecting your turbulence forecast, especially as you climb up to flight level there. And for the flights that are more so going Boston, maybe over to Chicago or cross country, that'll be the flight routes more impacted. Weather-wise, though, at least rainfall won't be terribly heavy. We still have that mist around in eastern Massachusetts, but that's the main issue that we will see just in terms of rain falling on the roadways, whether you're getting to the airport, the train station, or just trying to get home from work later today. Greg?
Well, to the other side of the country we go. Here in Soda Springs, California. A team of scientists are working around the clock to monitor the weather conditions there. And of course, we're talking about the University of California, Berkeley Central Sierra Snow Lab.
And the Snow Lab will be busy today measuring the freshly fallen snow. Leading the charge is lead scientist and station manager, Dr. Andrew Schwartz. He joins us now. Dr. Schwartz, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. An exciting day always when you get this first big snow of the season. So the big question we got to begin with is, have you been able to measure the snow yet?
Not yet officially. So we got about official measurement.
I can't wait for that. All right. Wintertime, isn't it? Now, for those who don't know, what is the primary mission of the Central Sierra Snow Lab?
So the primary mission of our lab is really to better understand our...
Now, this is just the start, really, of it all, the snowy season, building up the snowpack. What are you anticipating to see this winter?
You know, that's a really good question. We're sitting here,
Just a sort of a side question. What's the most snow you've ever measured in a single season at that location?
We have measured 68 feet of snow in the winter.
Yeah, wow, tremendous.
Whoa.
At this point in the season, are you hoping that you'll get snow versus rain? I mean, the snowpack is important, but it'd be hard to keep it, I would think, at this point.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
So I'm still stuck on this 60 plus feet of snow for the season. And the weather geek in me wants to know, like, how much was actually on the ground? What's the most you've ever seen on the ground? I know it's piled up over the season to over 60 feet, but the highest you've measured it, like, from the ground up.
Yeah. So that snow compacts a lot, for sure.
Oh my gosh, that's tremendous. You have to get in through an upper floor of your building. What about travel today out there? Obviously, the snow hasn't accumulated that much yet, as you've talked about, but are there precautions put in place in anticipating some tough travel?
Absolutely. You know, these roads aren't ideal even when they're dry.
Indeed. And as we get into the heart of the winter, we get into some of these bigger snowstorms. Do you all stay there? I'm curious, you're kind of nestled up here at high elevation. What happens during the biggest of the snowstorms?
When we get those big storms that bring...
Weather the most intense weather here. I appreciate your time with us today. Station Manager of the University of California, Berkeley, Central Sierra Snow Laboratory, Dr. Andrew Schwartz. Appreciate you joining us.
That's amazing. I would love to go there for a big storm and just weather it out. Wouldn't that be something?
Well, and they're prepared for it too, right? Yeah, it would be exciting here. We'll see how much snow with her. Actually, a desert.
What I like about that view is that I didn't see a chupacabra.
Yes, we did not, but only that they were hiding.
They're hiding
in the brush.
I think so, or the cacti.
The cacti.
Yeah.
Plenty of rain to talk about, though, and this is completely separate from what you were looking at there in Tucson. We've got some big rain happening in Los Angeles right now, so this is what we want to focus in on. Rain that has been very steady through the whole morning. A lot of plans have gotten canceled out here for anything outdoors, that's for sure, in Los Angeles. So let's dive into what's going on. We are following a severe thunderstorm warning for you. Now, there's severe thunderstorm watches, which is in place, and warnings. A watch means that active weather, severe weather is possible. When there's a warning, like we have right here, it means that weather is imminent. And so the warning is in place for parts of Los Angeles County. It does include Burbank, Glendale, and Los Angeles. Some of the worst weather, though, is moving through. You can see now moving on the east side of the warning, getting closer to Pasadena, which is just outside of the severe thunderstorm warning right now. We'll see if they extend it. At the moment, they haven't. At any rate, there is some heavy rain, and there may be some gusty winds. It's possible winds may gust over 50 or even 60 miles per hour, that's the reason for severe thunderstorm warnings. Now, adjacent to that, we have a flash flood warning, and that's for the heavy rain that's been occurring in the burn scar areas around the Franklin burn scar and the Palisades burn scar. But let's time out this severe thunderstorm warned area, and in particular, this area where you've got the bright yellows, that's probably where the most intense weather is. So we're going to time that out to Oran at 9:52, and then outside of the warned area to Pasadena at 9:55, San Gabriel 9:57. Again, this is all outside of the warned area, but just to give you that heads up, 10 a.m. Rosemead and El Monte at 10:04 if this gets to you. And, we're going to see heavy rain come out of this and maybe some stronger winds, potentially up over 50 miles per hour, which has already happened this morning, Greg. And we've had some issues with power outages and some trees down and ponding of water on the roadways, too.
Yeah, very heavy rain, no doubt about that. And that same system in the west is going to be moving eastbound, introducing severe weather chances over the weekend in the Midwest. Jen, thank you very much for that. This is an interesting.